Mom?
Don't you dare mom me, young lady. Why are you sitting here with this riffraff?
Tyrese Snyder. We dated through high school and college. Mom never liked Tyrese, and she never gave a reason why. I thought you were out of town on business, I stammered.
I was, but I came home early, and it's a good thing.
Mom grabbed my arm and dragged me to her car. Once in the car, Mom turned to me.
It's time you get a real man, settle down and get married.
I'm not going to dump Tyrese.
Well, Lynn, if you want to inherit my company, you'll do whatever I say.
Mom started the car and drove away from the restaurant. I sat in the passenger seat and folded my arms across my chest. Who did Mom think she was? Trying to control who I dated? If you want to see how crazy things get, keep watching. It's going to get really weird from this point on. Over the next few weeks, to please Mom, I went out on a few casual dates with some of the men she found for me. Each man I dated had a bigger house and more money than the last. I never made it past date 1, because the more money they had, the snobbier they were. Mom, of course, was there during each date. I felt a puke burn my throat as it crawled into my mouth every time Mom spoke to my date with her fake customer service voice. One afternoon, Mom burst into my room.
Lynn, I have the perfect man for you. His name's Lincoln Ainsworth. Not only is he a cutie, but he's filthy rich and single. His father passed away last year, and being the only child, he inherited everything.
I tilted my head and looked at Mom in disbelief. And you see nothing wrong with what you just said?
Do you know how hard it was to raise you after your father died? I want to be assured that if anything happens to your husband, that you and your children are well taken care of. Besides, I already set the date up with you and Lincoln. Get ready for 7 p.m. sharp.
I rolled my eyes as Mom left the room. I messaged Tyrese and told him about Mom's latest shenanigans. He assured me that soon we'd be able to walk away from Mom and her madness and live our own lives. As I sat across from Mom and Lincoln that night in the restaurant, I expected him to be a bore like the others. I was pleasantly surprised when he was witty, charming, and intelligent. After 20 minutes, he looked over at Mom.
Delaney, you have such an amazing, intelligent daughter. I think I can take the date from here.
But what if...
We're both adults, and this date should be done on our terms.
I think I should...
It's either you stay or I go. The three of us can't stay at this table.
Mom stared at Lincoln. Eventually, Mom stood up and smiled politely. She kissed me on my cheek and whispered,
"Don't mess this up,"
before she walked away. I've never seen anyone stand up to my mother.
Well, maybe it's about time someone should.
Mom's absence felt like a breath of fresh air, and the rest of the night went great. By the end of the night, we exchanged numbers, and he promised to keep in touch. As time went on, Lincoln and I spent more and more time together. During dinner one night, Lincoln gave me a small velvet black box. I looked at it suspiciously.
It's not an engagement ring.
He chuckled.
You can take it.
I took the box hesitantly from his hand and opened it. It was a key.
I know we've only known each other for 3 months, but I feel as though I've known you my entire life. I'd like you to move in with me.
Lincoln, I'm not sure about this. It's moving a bit too fast for me. I tried to return the box, but he refused.
How about you hold on to it until you're ready, okay?
I slipped the box into my handbag. As soon as I returned home that night, Mom approached me.
I just got off the phone with Lincoln. Have you thought about his proposal yet?
What proposal, Mom?
He asked you a very important question tonight. I think you should move in with him, secure your future.
Are you sure it's my future you want to secure, or your company's? The fact that Lincoln invested $5 million has nothing to do with it? I raised an eyebrow at Mom. As Mom's head account, I knew every transaction going into and coming out of the company.
Potato, potato.
Mom waved me off.
Well, how soon will you be moving in?
Mom, at least let me think about it.
Fine, but don't wait too long. Lincoln is a catch, and you know it.
I went to my room, locked the door, and immediately called Tyrese and told him about the situation.
I think you should do it.
I don't think it's such a good idea.
Our plan doesn't change. Once our business takes off, we can ask your mom's approval to be married.
I really hope this works.
Trust me, babe. This is going to work.
The following week, I moved in with Lincoln. Tyrese and I still saw each other, and with Lincoln away on business most weeks, a few days a week, it definitely made it easier.
So what movie are we watching today?
Tyrese asked as he sat next to me on the sofa with the bowl of popcorn in his hand. I didn't ask you here to just watch a movie. I smiled as I wrapped my arms around his neck and pulled him in for a kiss.
Lynn, what are you doing?
Tyrese and I shot out of the sofa and spun around. Mom glared at us.
What is the meaning of this, Lynn? Why is he here in Lincoln's house?
Mom turned up her nose in disgust. Mom, Tyrese is my guest. What are you doing here?
Guest?
Mom, I said firmly. What are you doing?
Lincoln asked me to come by, and it's a good thing he did.
Mom pointed at Tyrese.
You better leave before I call the police.
Who are you going to call the police on? My guest? I yelled. Tyrese turned to me and spoke softly.
Look, let me leave and I'll call you tomorrow, okay?
I nodded and kissed him lightly on his lips. Mom let out an exasperated sigh and shook her head. Tyrese exited the house.
Are you trying to lose Lincoln?
Mom's tone softened.
I only want what's best for you. I won't tell Lincoln about what I've seen if you promise it won't happen again.
I laughed. Ensuring that your investment is safe is a great business move, Mom. I have to hand you that. I don't care if you tell Lincoln. I don't love him. I love Tyrese. I'm only doing this for you. I stormed off towards the bedroom and locked the door. About an hour later, I heard a knock on the door.
Baby, I'm back.
I crawled out of the bed, opened the door for Lincoln.
Let me guess, you and your mom had it out again?
I shrugged. He leaned over and kissed me on the cheek.
I'll be right back, okay?
I nodded and Lincoln walked out of the room and closed the door behind him. After a few hours, Mom left and Lincoln prepared a romantic dinner for us. As soon as dinner was over, Lincoln held my hand and looked at me strangely. Do I have something in my teeth? I picked up a spoon to check. Lincoln chuckled.
There's nothing in your teeth. I'm just amazed at how good we are together. I can't believe how lucky I am to have such an intelligent, hardworking, gorgeous powerhouse of a woman by my side. I know we've only been together for a few months, but my father always told me it's better to take the risk rather than live with regret. So, Lynn Hamilton, will you marry me?
I squealed yes, and Lincoln slipped the ring on my finger. Over the next few weeks, Lincoln and I were extremely busy since he wanted to get married right away. He gave me access to his bank accounts and told me he wanted us to have the biggest wedding of the century. As the days of the wedding grew closer, I became anxious. I told Mom I couldn't go along with it. According to her, it was just pre-wedding jitters and everyone had them. She said once I walk down the aisle, I'll be okay. Despite Mom's comforting words, on the eve of the wedding during dinner at home, I told Lincoln that I wasn't ready to be married, and to be honest, my heart belonged to someone else. I expected Lincoln to be warm and loving, as he's always been to me. But Lincoln turned from Bruce Banner to Hulk in the blink of an eye. His eyes bulged and the vein in his head throbbed. He bellowed.
You're not going to make a fool of me! Who the heck do you think you are?
He passed his arm on the table and threw the dishes to the floor, together with my phone.
You will marry me! Daddy played a stupid trick and stated in his will that if I wasn't married by the anniversary of his death, I'll lose everything.
Lincoln grabbed my arm and I struggled to pull away. Lincoln, you're hurting me. Lincoln ignored my cries and sounded like a raged madman as he spoke.
We'll elope. Yes, that's what we'll do. Elope.
I snatched a single plate that was on the table and smashed it on Lincoln's head. Startled for a few seconds, I was able to escape his grasp. I grabbed my phone from the floor and ran down the hall to the guest bathroom and locked myself in. I checked my phone. Damn it. It was only 2%. I quickly called Tyrese and told him I needed him to come over quickly before my phone went dead. Lincoln banged on the door.
Lynn, open the door! Babe!
He banged for a few more minutes before everything went silent. Suddenly, I heard it. Lincoln was using an axe to break through the door. I held my breath with every hack against the door. It wasn't long before Lincoln made a hole big enough to look into the bathroom. He waved at me. I screamed and threw anything I could find at him in the bathroom. Lincoln dropped the axe and began to tear away at the door with his bare hands. Just as he was about to stretch in and grab me, something pulled Lincoln back. Hesitantly, I stepped towards the hole and peeked out. Tyrese and Lincoln were scrambling on the ground. They bounced against the door during their tussle and I screamed. It seemed like an eternity before I heard sirens and officers ordering Lincoln to put his hands in the air.
Lynn?
Tyrese said softly as he peered into the bathroom. I quickly unlocked the door and Tyrese hugged me tightly. Thank you for coming, I whispered into his neck. He walked me over to the police officers where Mom stood.
Lynn, thank God you're safe.
She hugged me and looked at Tyrese and mouthed thank you to him. After I gave my statement to the officers, Tyrese dropped Mom and me home. A few days after the ordeal, I begged Mom to give Tyrese a chance. Mom sighed.
Well, I guess I can give the guy who saved my daughter's life a chance.
I hugged my mom tightly. Thank you. Thank you. I discussed with Mom Tyrese's plan for us to open our own business and that he'd be the best son-in-law she'd ever had.
Are you sure this is what you want?
I smiled and nodded vigorously. He's the only man for me, Mom. I love him, and he loves me.
Invite him to dinner Saturday night, and we can discuss this further.
Thank you, Mom. It means a lot. Later that day, I spoke with Tyrese, and he was just as excited as I was. Saturday quickly rolled around, and I woke up earlier than usual, and I couldn't wait for dinner time to arrive. That morning, I messaged Tyrese, and where he'd usually respond, there was silence. I thought maybe he was busy, and didn't think too much about it, until 3 p.m. arrived, and I received a text message stating that money was removed from my account. Again, I didn't think too much of it, and couldn't do anything since banks were already closed for the weekend. I tried calling Tyrese, but still no answer. I began to get worried, and I told Mom I couldn't get on to him.
Didn't you say you guys were starting a new business? If you want a successful man, you'll have to put up with a busy one.
As I got ready for dinner, something just wasn't sitting right with me. Dinner came and went, and still no Tyrese.
Maybe something did happen.
Mom said as she cleared the dinner table.
Maybe you should call the local hospitals and see if he got warded.
I called every hospital, and still no Tyrese. It seemed as though he just disappeared from the face of the earth. Around 10 p.m., my phone rang. It was Tyrese. Babe, where have you been? I was worried sick.
Lynn, I just wanted to call you and let you know I removed the money from your account. If you haven't figured it out yet, I was just using you for the money I could get. Now that everyone else is out of the way and it's just me, well, let's just say the pool has dried up. I love you, Lydia.
The phone went dead. I threw my phone against the wall and screamed. Mom ran into the room.
Did they find him? Did they find Tyrese?
I sank to the floor and Mom sat and held me until I was able to tell her what was wrong. I told her that Tyrese stole $10 million from me and he isn't coming back. Mom pulled away and raised an eyebrow.
Where did you get $10 million?
I dried my eyes. I saved it from all the men I dated, and well, I was never planning to marry Lincoln, and I stashed the money for the wedding in my account. Mom sighed.
You can't betray others and not expect to be betrayed yourself. You can choose to allow this moment to break you, or you can pick up the pieces of your life and build something beautiful.
As the days went on, the pain of Tyrese's betrayal eased. I do hope that one day I'll be able to find someone who loves me for me, and not what I can do for them. But maybe I deserve this. I don't know.